What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be working back, cleaning up another VG, getting it resealed, doing all the jazz to bring it back to life, which came out of this silver 2+0 manual, which is Carl's Z. And if you guys remember from last video, this thing is nothing short of crusty and greasy. We haven't pulled the knock sensor out yet, pulled the oil tree, or removed the oil pan, or the valve covers. That's all going to be done in this video, and we're going to be getting everything resealed and refreshed, because this thing is in dire need of it. We are going to be putting some headers on it as well. So we'll be doing exhaust gaskets, you know, all the good stuff. We did already do the 120K timing kit, because yes, do that. If you're in this deep, you definitely want to. So the reason we did not do this in the last video is I wanted to show you guys a good before and after of this engine. It's really going to make a big transformation when all said and done. And another thing I want to tell you guys, if any of you guys are thinking about doing YouTube or recording anything, do not buy a GoPro. This GoPro has died with 95% battery from being too cold when it's been warmed up out here in the shop. I am over GoPro. It is so terrible. When it's hot outside, when at like 80 degrees, the thing gets too hot in 10 minutes. Like, you cannot win with these things, I'm telling you what. Hope you guys are excited for today's video, because I am. I'm ready to get working on this thing and get this thing all sorted so we can get it back in the car for Carl so he can start enjoying it for this season. I also want to give you guys a massive shout out for helping me hit 5,000 subs. And honestly, we're almost up to 5,400, all within the month. You guys are absolutely killing it, and I could not be more thankful or grateful. Let's get that claw hammer. Let's see what is behind door number 1. Oh yeah, that's barely stuck on. So let's pull this first. Nice one, Caden. There's always one bolt that gets hung up. Survey says not bad. It does look like it's been apart before though, because the cam caps have numbers on them. And door number 2, not bad at all. Pretty clean. All that dirt and debris is just falling off. Let's pull all this RTV out, at least what we can, so we're not introducing any extra into the engine. You know, after doing this in-car on Blade and Z, I swore to never do it like in the car again. It was such a pain. Breaks your back, and then you smear it all on the cam caps when you go putting these exhaust ones back on, and it's just no fun. You can see right there where it's like black. That gasket has been non-existent for a while because there is some carbon buildup. And it should definitely just be the RTV. The good thing about when this stuff is so old is how easy it comes off. Literally just break it off. I wonder how much this will clean up with one swipe. Will we get the... Nope. Gee whiz. Grease. Like half inch, not half inch, but a 1/4 inch thick on this thing. Oh, there's a leak right there. See that dark spot? Pry on the seal a little bit. Free it up. Yep, it's a crumbling. If you get it loose, just pull it straight out. Try to mitigate all that inside. Definitely don't want stuff like that floating around in your engine. Now we can pull our VTCs with no issue. Now with all the parts over here all taken off, before we clean up the mating surfaces and whatnot to actually glue them back on or replace this seal or valve cover gasket itself, we're going to move over here. We're going to set you guys up on my clamp over here so we can show you guys from above of us cleaning all this up. So enjoy the B-roll and a little bit of the music. cleaned up. The exhaust side cleaned up, pretty much brand new. At least brand new in comparison. Sorry about my phone, I forgot to turn it down. We got the VTC all shined up. Whenever you get these nice and clean with some brake cleaner, they turn all rainbowy on the end. I don't know if the camera will pick that up. And we have the intake. Usually I just brake clean soak these things to get all of it off. You can tell, or at least from when I sprayed the VTC, that I got some on it. I'm gonna try not to do that with his so they can remain black and kind of fresher looking. I want to go take the other ones off and clean them up since I really hate doing this whole process because it's so time consuming. But stuff happens. I just want to get it to where we can start putting it all together instead of, you know, chipping away, doing one side, a little transformation on the other. Yeah, I just rather knock both these exhaust valve covers out at the same time. Even though my hand gets so tired squeezing that RTV tube, just reminded me I need to order some more ultra gray or Nissan liquid gasket for my caulk gun because that's what I prefer to use. It's pretty much like the Right Stuff, or I should say Honda Bond, not the Right Stuff. Stuff is awesome. Dries to usage within 2 hours. Let's put the respirator back on and let's get to work, and we'll be back once we're ready to put it all back together. So it's been a few days, but we're now back to working on this Z. We've got the valve cover all ready to be glued on, but before we actually sit it on, we're gonna have to install the half moon seal. Basically, I wanted to wait until I got some actual Nissan liquid gasket, which is in this caulk tube, instead of using like a ultra gray. So we're gonna fill up the gap on the rear of this half moon and squish it in. I apologize for any crazy noise. I have soffit that likes to move in the wind, so that's probably what you're hearing. Ooh, I need to put some gloves on. Once you get her smashed, I'll just wipe this out and across the seal. Basically, you really just want to check and make sure you got a bead on the inside that's going to seal everything. It doesn't always squish on both sides. I do have kind of a habit to go back and backfill this little gap, just because it'll come out easy on replacement. It'll pull off as a full string, no big deal. You can kind of just push it on and stick it. So now we're going to hand tighten all these down, get all of this gasket to squish out and monitor the squish around, and then we wait an hour. Technically, I'm kidding, you only wait 10 minutes on this stuff, then we can torque it down to spec. Oh yeah, check that squish. Now I do kind of have a pet peeve about going back and kind of wiping the squish out, make it uniform so you don't just see a bead smushing out everywhere. Set that 10-minute timer, but for now the reason why I didn't wait to do the full transformation is basically because I want to keep these on while I spray all this down so I don't have to keep everything from going inside like I did over here. Because yes, we did get a major transformation on this thing. Still got the oil tree in place. That's going to need soak to clean up. So let's grab some brake cleaner and let's get to work. Microfiber towel really picks all that junk up for your final clean as well. I'm already super stoked with the before and after, and I really haven't even got into it. So now, once we finish out our timer, we can torque down our valve covers. We're actually going to start to pull all of this down, and we're going to do the same thing over here and get this all cleaned up. So let's do a little before and after. Safe to say we have came a long way from where it was. We got our new exhaust gaskets installed, valve covers fully resealed, all cleaned up, as good as they're going to get, maybe a little bit here and there. We did clean up our mating surfaces for both of these heater core pipe, and we installed one of our spark plug tube guides. Thankfully, we cleaned this one up as well, and we can bring this thing together a little bit more. Let's get everything ready where we can pull this pan off. I'm probably going to pull it before we flip it, so that way any of the residual oil will go into the pan and not up into the heads and whatnot. But we did pop the oil tree off and that gusset plate since we cleaned up this whole side, so we literally are just limited to this oil pan now. Since it's an old seal, I'm just hitting it with a mallet to loosen all the RTV up. Wow, well, that's kind of cool, but it definitely tells me the seal needs redone very badly. Wow, that's a lot of oil to still be in there for letting the drain plug out. Usually here on these back edges and whatnot, I'll wedge a flathead or a pry bar in between, hammer that in to kind of split it apart, just in case you don't have luck with the mallet. So unfortunately we can't get it fully upside down, but it's not really going to be that big of a deal as long as it's pretty much upside down. Reason being is I don't have bolts that are short enough. They're way too long with a ton of washers and they hit on the actual stand. We did go ahead and clean this side up with a fresh razor blade and then a little bit of a wire brush. Hit it back with some brake cleaner, clean it all up. Now we got to pull these seals out. Oddly enough, the seal is not stiff. This one's glued in pretty good. Oh yeah, brittle. So now we're just going to go back, clean up all of our RTV so we can get a nice clean surface to install some more. But we're just going to let this sit here for now, let everything settle. And we really need to get over here and clean up this oil pan. So you can scrape it with a knife, your fingernail, or you can just take a wire wheel and strip it all off and throw it everywhere. Only if you're going to be washing the pan out. And it's really looking like I'm going to need to do that. We're actually going to tap out this oil pickup just a little bit because it appears to be mashed in. And then we're going to clean up this whole pan. Oil pan is all cleaned up, rinsed out, and we bent that dent out on that oil pickup. Now we're going to lay our bead of RTV, install our seals, and get this thing finished up. It's been at least a week for those of you guys who watched the last video. I've been waiting on parts to come in for this thing. Coincidentally enough, everything came in on Saturday morning, so let's get it done. Got some RTV on the ends of these oil pan seals. We'll just kind of squish the corners down in. Line up our bolt holes. Seal the deal. Let's clean up all our hardware, finger tighten it, let it sit for about 10 minutes, and then we'll torque it all down to 5 foot-pounds, technically hand tight. We've now let it sit for an hour. Pan is all cured up. We got it flipped over, and we went ahead, took the time to clean up some components like our brackets and all that stuff to bolt on the engine and give it that final fit for this fresh transformation. I actually need to go grab an oil tree gasket so I can install that oil tree. Oh yeah, I forgot. Nice and shiny. I guess we need to open up the boxes of parts to see exactly what we're working with that we still have yet to do. I believe this is the clutch and flywheel. Yep. I really got no idea what's in this. Hose kit. Nice set of some fuel injectors. Oh, okay, we got an oil tree gasket, sweet. So I wasn't thinking much of it, I was just loosening up this knock sensor to replace it, and this thing is completely toasted. I have never seen one that far gone. Thankfully, we got a brand new one and a sub harness. Fortunately, the other header I'm kind of struggling with getting it off. I got to get the EGR port removed, so it needs soaked in some penetrant. But thankfully with aftermarket headers, you can access all the studs and bolts. And to finish it off, some fresh new engine mounts. now we've got pretty much all of the passenger side done, with the exception of the O2 sensor and the oil filter. I do need to figure out what to do with an oil filter. I don't know if I have any OEM ones to spare, but it's not like that's quite specific where we can't just go to the parts store and find something. So next video, we'll be getting all that stuff taken care of. We'll be getting the plenum back on, the injectors adapted over, engine back in the car, getting all of the hoses swapped out with those new red hoses, install the clutch, flywheel, transmission, all that, so we can actually get this thing running and get it all finished up. Instead of just showing it so detailed like, I'm just going to try to get it all done next video, so we'll make a video out of that. I was going to make a little ender clip where I go in and do some floor in my house, but I'll save that for another video as it's not really relevant to this video, so stay tuned for that. Thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe down below, as it really helps out the channel and helps you guys not to miss any future content. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Peace.